Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps. My co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It's great to speak to you again. It's week 3 of Love Island and the drama's properly kicking off. So where do you want to start today?
Well, I want to start. I think it's got to be the Siannise and Rebecca situation. Again, I don't know where the hell this is coming from, and I won't mind your perspective on it, because it was a bit like what happened with Paige, where she just turned on Finlay. I'm not sure what Siannise thinks is going on in the villa. I think she seems to think that these guys are there exclusively for her, and everyone else should just get the scraps. I genuinely don't get it. I'm not a massive fan of Rebecca, I'll be honest with you, Dave. I'm not warming to her, but I do like the fact that she's got a bit of fucking bollocks behind her, that she'll stick up for herself and go for what she wants. However, when they were both arguing, I'm thinking, well, you two are two people I actually don't like, to be honest, so I'm not that bothered. But Siannise has just got this weird thing about her where she can just turn it all about herself, and I just find that really, really off-putting.
I think Siannise has got an incredibly ugly personality.
Yep.
But I'm going to try and be objective, because when we did the last season in Love Island, so season 5, wasn't it, the UK one, we got to a point where, you know, some of Anna's behaviour was just particularly distasteful, and it was, you know, again, just showing ugly traits. And it was around that time we got, I think, what has to be my favourite review, which was a 1-starer. And it simply said these guys know nothing about women. So I don't know if that's completely true, but I don't know if it's completely false either. So I wonder, the reason I say that, is it like, would a woman have a different perspective on it? Is because she keeps going on this phrase. I don't think I've heard it this season yet. You know, girl's girl.
Yeah.
You know, and when they're both arguing, I completely agree. I don't think either of them came out of it particularly well. I think up until, you know, this little spat, I don't think Rebecca's done a lot wrong, really. But then, you know, Siannise was going off like the victim, but she was attacking Rebecca and saying, "Oh, well, you're not a girl's girl." It's like, is that what this is? Is this what I'm seeing? Because I don't think it is. I just think it's someone. So what did we call her? You know, we said Siannise, from the look of it, from week 1 and 2, she looks very self-entitled, self-important. You know, it's all about her. She absolutely laid into Naz because, you know, he was trying to be flirty with her. But it's different when the shoe's on the other foot, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't like either of them. And I have to say, the thing that irked me a bit about what Rebecca was saying, I hate the way people sort of say they're apologising, but it's not a real apology. So she was being very particular with the words. She was saying, "I'm sorry that you feel that way."
Yeah.
You know, it's not, "I'm just sorry for the whole situation." You know, that is an unreserved apology, isn't it? It's like, you know, "I'm sorry, but it's actually your problem," is what I feel like people say when they say that.
Yeah, because she doesn't believe she's done anything wrong. But one of the moments I thought was piss funny, Dave, was Luke T. He's talking to Siannise after this little Barney, and he was moving in there. He didn't give a fuck what she was saying. She was crying and everything, and he was getting closer and closer to her face and everything. Siannise going, yeah. He must have said it about 20, and I'm thinking he's just gone Homer Simpson, and he's thinking, you know, I want to. All he was trying to do was put it on her. He was absolutely piss funny. I was thinking, wow, mate, give her time here. At least she might like you, but she's not going to pull a move on you when she's had this Barney with her. He was proper funny, and I was thinking, oh, he's got to be a bit of he's invading on the space there. But again, like you said, I don't get it. But also, Dave, we're talking about, do you mean you want to talk about the section at the end with the whole voting and Laura Whitmore?
Well, I just want to say, I mean, I don't quite get it with Luke T, why he has got 2 women fighting over him. because he's playing. He's good at playing, being very coy and stuff. And like you say, it's like the lights are on, but no one's home. And when the girls are asking him, and he's saying like, "Yeah, I don't think this is about me." It is 100% about you. I'm not quite sure what you could do different, but to say it's not about me is incorrect. But fucking hell, Chris, I nearly fell off my chair when he was talking to Siannise, and he says like he finds out her middle name's Adele, and you can see the cogwheels turning. He's like, "Oh, right. So is that like after Adele, the singer sort of thing?" I'm like, "She's fucking mid-20s, you fucking idiot." That was around 20 odd years ago. And I was like, as soon as I saw the cogwheels turn, I thought, no, no, no. He's not that stupid. He's not going to ask this. Oh, yes, he is.
Unbelievable. I don't know, and I don't hold up out much hope. I think Siannise is quite a clever girl, so if Luke doesn't know that Adele, came from like let's say that again. If Luke doesn't know that Adele wasn't around in the mid-90s, then what fucking hope have they got as a couple? I honestly don't know. But I've got to talk about Sophie and Connor. He's doing my head in now. We may have finally, and we will finally get a conclusion. However, I have a theory on this, Dave, that I did read this on a tweet that someone copied us in on when the show was live tonight, was if Sophie gets voted off, Connor will leave. If Connor gets voted off, Sophie's going to do a mic and fucking stay, Dave. 100%. And I think whoever goes, the other one needs to go. Because we said it, didn't we? I don't like Sophie now. I really, really have gone off it. And I think one of the things with Connor, and I've read a lot of things online, like, I don't trust everything you read online. It's only a percentage of what people really think. But it's like a half and half, whereas everyone was at Connor saying he's a nut job and that. And he is, he's a slapped ass. He really, really takes things personal, even ridiculous things, gets jealous. But I think she gaslights him a lot, as we've mentioned. And I think what's going to happen tonight is he's going to go, and it's going to be like the UK series, in it, with Joe and Lucy, because I think he's going to go. He's going to get the least votes, and she's going to stay. And then who's she going to go on with then, Dave? You'll see if she's playing a game, because she's going to have to quickly move to someone like Nas or someone else and get in with them, because otherwise she's going to be gone in a day or so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious, isn't it? Connor's going to go. And Sophie will stick around and couple up with someone else. I mean, the pair of them, I said it last week, didn't I? They're just that toxic couple that you don't want to invite round because they'll end up fucking arguing at some point. It's just who they are. So yeah. They're just on completely different pages. And I think, Connor's like completely put out, isn't he, that he's been described as sensitive. Well, let me tell you, Connor, that is the nice way of putting it, because actually you're just fucking insecure within yourself, and that comes out in this behavior that you could interpret as sensitive, but it's not. It's because he's so fucking insecure. He just can't take any joke or whatever. And I don't know. I don't see a lot wrong with what Sophie's doing, apart from keep going back and fucking coupling up with him. But we've seen as well, when the public get to vote, whoever remains does kind of have a bit of a moment where they're like, hang about, what are other people seeing that, I clearly haven't seen?
Yeah. And maybe we will. Then maybe look, we've all done it watching Love Island over these last 6-7 months with the different variations of it. And you can go back on our episodes. There's plenty of episodes where we go all in on something, go, fucking dickhead, ridiculous, get him out. Then a few episodes later, you're like, oh, actually, they're not that bad. Actually, I feel really sorry for him. So it is a lot of it's to do with the editing. And maybe Sophie will come out, because I did like her initially. I just think maybe like what you've just said about that relationship, maybe it's just the relationship and she's bringing her worst side out, Dave, that she keeps hidden or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just a defense mechanism and she is really, really lovely. I'm not sure, but it's going to be great viewing. It's going to be great viewing tomorrow when we watch the show, because you're going to get all that bullshit. The music, the violins are going to come out, aren't you? It's like, oh my God,
I have to mention, because obviously, I mean, not all of our listeners might just be on the UK one, but I think my favourite was from the Australian episode where Matt and Vanessa were coupled up. Remember, and Vanessa
Yeah.
got voted out. And Matt was bawling. He was in tears, but not for a split second did he actually think of leaving. He was like, "Oh no, she's going." It's not like you're in prison. He could have gone as well. So, yeah, absolute hypocrite. But yeah, I think Connor will go. It's pretty much a certainty.
It is, and funny enough, Dave, what I'm like from reality shows. We're watching a show, I think it's a BBC or something like Dinner with My Ex or something. And it's Michael off last year's UK Love Island, and not Amber, the other girl who he dumped Amber for.
I can picture her in my mind's
You know what
eye,
I mean?
but I can't
Brown-haired
think her name.
girl. She looks like she's got Italian or Spanish, doesn't she? Olive skin, and she's
Yeah,
there
yeah.
sat with him, and he's just doing the same thing. I've started watching X on the Beach Celebrity one. He's fucking on that as well now, Dave. You know what I mean? Like he's doing the rounds. He goes, yeah, I'm a fireman. I don't think you fucking are, mate. You can't keep going on these holidays. There's no way you got that much leave. I think he's a bit like Michael. He's going to live off the fact he was a copper when he's probably not been there for ages. But yeah, he's popping up, and it reminds me of that scenario with these. So we'll see how it pops really this week. And I think it's going to get interesting this week. I think we're going to see a few cracks. And I think what we'll do, Dave, is typical Love Island. One of the couples who seems solid, maybe Callum and Shauna. I think it'll be Callum. I think all of a sudden we're going to get the old classic in a couple of days at the end of one of the episodes. I don't know whether it's the right thing I'm doing being with her. Like one of them to create drama. Like sometimes it comes from nowhere, like they've had a bit of assistance from the producers. And I think we may get that at some point this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced by Callum and Shauna. I mean, again, she was being quite controlling when Rebecca came on the scene. And I just think he's laid back, but I don't think it'd take that much to turn his head. I don't know. I actually think Mike and Leanne might have come through a little bit of a bumpy time and might come out stronger for it.
Yeah.
So after the dates and stuff, I think Mike and Leanne looked at that little bit stronger, whereas she was definitely not interested before. And I'm a bit surprised that she's gone back, but maybe she just needed that, that wake up call, a date with someone else, and think, actually, you know what, Mike's not too bad.
Yeah, you know what, Dave, actually, something else I wanted to bring up, and it's happened every single fucking episode. And Sophie and Leanne are at the forefront of it most of the time. But every single one of the housemates was doing it when Siannise and Rebecca were kicking off. Aren't they a bunch of fucking gossips? Now, that might be hypocritical, because with the show that we do, and maybe calling myself out. But fucking Sophie is that desperate to listen into private conversations. I know they're not fucking private because we see them on the telly, but for the purpose of being in there and the respect, I suppose, to each other, give a fuck. And then I think Leanne said something like, God, your ass is right in my face, because she was leaning right over on the stairs. And I'm just like,
what? It's weird behaviour, isn't it? And there is something about it. I mean, what we're doing, it's not gossiping, is it? I think you have to be in the circle to actually class it as gossiping. But I don't know. But yeah, it's almost like a scene off Home and Away or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Odd behaviour to be like comically kind of being so desperate to listen in. I just found that a little bit weird, to be honest.
It's happened every episode, though, hasn't it? Like, you've had a couple of the girls doing it. I think Shauna was doing it. Sophie's always in there. Fuck me, she's definitely the neighbour you need to tell you about what's going on the street. But then every single one of them, when he was kicking up, they're all stood up like, oh.
Like meerkats, aren't they?
It's like, what the fuck,
But I tell you what, I mean, it is, as well as, because it's coming to the boil and we're seeing a little bit of drama when we get Casa Amor. I'm sure it'll be more and more drama then, and then it will taper off, won't it, when we get close to the edge of the season. But it is so interesting. And again, I know we started off with this, but that argument between Siannise and Rebecca, I find it so interesting because, they were both giving as good as they got. But the difference is Siannise goes off and she She literally picks the worst thing to get the sympathy card for everyone else. And everyone around's like, oh, I can't believe she said that. Oh, that she's been here for 2 weeks and didn't click with anyone. That was like right at the end when Siannise had been throwing barbs for the last fucking 10 minutes or however long that argument went on. It's like, oh, you're boring. And it's just like, and everyone else is like making Rebecca the bad person. But Rebecca's a bit more bolshy, and maybe she isn't quite a girly girl like Siannise is. So she's not particularly, she's not going into details about the barbs that she was getting thrown. And I find it genuinely interesting because again, you sort of take this into your normal life, don't you? And they get, people just love the drama of it all and making other people out, taking the worst thing that can possibly happen and then twisting it and then rallying everyone around and making whoever it is they're talking about the bad person. It's fascinating.
It is. It's one of the reasons I love the TV show, Dave. It's just ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And then once the show's over, you're like, why the fuck was he so invested in some fake relationship? But, obviously love it. I love doing it on here. I love coming on and inventing and everyone listening. It's fucking fantastic. And Dave, just before we get to the end, we have had another review, haven't we, of the show?
We've had a few reviews, and also we've had an email. Now, let me go through. So again, if you're joining us for the first time, we're desperately trying to catch up to the official Love Island podcast with our iTunes or Apple Podcasts reviews. We have got some way to go. They're about 38,000 ahead of us. And so people have been absolutely brilliant, jumping on from all over. So I'll start off with the first one, which has come from the US. It says, viciously entertaining. Nice job, guys. That's a 5-star review, and that is from Kato14. The next one we've got says, top blokes, and this is a UK one. So it's from DJ Ironman UK. And it says, wicked podcast, fellas. Found you last year in the first part of the US one. Keep up the great work and keep telling it how it is. Now, did I read out the New Zealand one last week?
I'm not sure, Dave.
I can't think that we did. I remember seeing it last week, but I don't think I read it out. So it came in on the 23rd. You know what? If I've read this out before, apologies, but I'm going to read it out again. So this one's subject all the way from New Zealand. I think this is the first one we've had from New Zealand, to be honest. Love listening to you lads the day after an episode. Love Island is finally starting to heat up. Going to be a great summer over here in New Zealand. And that's from Samuel Wandwasson. And the last one, I don't think I've read out either. Subject A+. It says, a great Love Island in podcast to rival the official one. The guys tell it how it is. Wish they would get some ex-Islanders on. And that's from Doc VW. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Can you imagine getting Anna on or someone like that, Chris?
Bye. We could have a hate off with her and fucking Siannise, couldn't we?
Yeah.
And Connor, actually, get him thrown in there.
Yeah.
Now, Dave, we have had an email, which is a belter. It's from Scarlett Clark, so thank you, Scarlett, for sending it in. Just before I read it out, guys, like Scarlett has done and many others, the loveislandcast@gmail.com. If you want to send in an email, get it over there and we'll read them out on the show, because me and Dave just love reading what other people are thinking, because pretty much most of the time we're all on the same wavelength. And also on Twitter, @LoveIslandCast, if you want to DM us or send us a tweet regarding the show and we'll get it read out. So he says, hey, Chris and Dave, going to give you some of my thoughts on the recent episode. Still on that Love Island train. Feel like I'm about to get off, though, because to me, Nas being saved by Siannise was a blatant producer move. I guess we all know that it's like that, but it's getting worse each season. Feel like they know that Nas is the most liked and Siannise is the one we all love to hate. And this season will be pretty dry without them. Also, even though Connor is a bit of a see you next Tuesday, I think I agree with him in the most recent fight. I hate it when people say shit that is annoying and then say it's a joke and banter. Get a better sense of humour, because I don't know what's actually funny about that, except that it's going to make someone else feel like shit. Maybe you guys disagree, but do you know what makes this type of thing funny? I actually don't. I just don't get it. I also think she's just gone off with another guy and he's bound to feel insecure about new people coming in. And it's just a bit tone deaf. Aside from that, I find this season a bit stale, to be honest. I basically watch so that I can listen to your podcast now. Keep it up. And that's from Scarlett. So thank you, Scarlett. I think what Scarlett's saying is exactly what we said, Dave. she's just gaslighting him all the time, I think. I think she knows she can get that reaction. When he pisses her off, she knows she could do something real subtle. And his spidey senses go, don't, and he's like, hang on, she's looking at somebody over there. Or, which he can't, it's not fucking normal anyway, is it? But,
You know what, Chris? I've heard you say, see you next Tuesday, so many times, and I just thought it was a turn of phrase. I didn't actually realize what it spells out. Yeah.
Come on, Dave. How long have we doing these podcasts together?
Well, you just throw it in there. Just thought, see you next Tuesday. All right, okay. That's I have no idea what that is. But I'll just let him get on with it. I didn't realise it was the old James Blunt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to be polite. I know that my expletives on this podcast was one of the reasons it is explicit, because of the way I swear in that. But even I won't go that far, Dave. That is a word a bit too far. Well, I might do it in private, but I'm certainly not going to do it on the podcast. But yes, anyway, I do agree with Scarlett. I mean, is anything you... Anyway, Dave, over to you. So, anything on Scarlett's email that stood out, Dave, or is it pretty much the same as me?
No, I mean, absolutely brilliant. I think she's called it there. And I think I'm probably with Scarlett. I wasn't really feeling this season, but I think we are getting a bit more drama now. And so I think it's just coming up to the boil. We're getting some of that infighting. I think as more people come in. I don't know if I think, about Siannise. I think the thing is with Connor G, or Connor with a G, he'd blatantly told Siannise that, he was going to go off with Rebecca, so she felt that was one of the many occasions where she said she felt like a dickhead. So she'd been a bit scorned by him. And so I think the logical choice was to probably stick with the safe option and go for Naz. So I don't know if there are meddling hands in there. I can kind of rationalize and think that was a genuine decision, because also, she didn't have that long to think about it, because I don't know why she would not even consider the possibility that someone else might pick Luke T. Surely she's seen the fucking show before, but she obviously didn't really have a plan. So it was sort of a snap decision. So I don't know. I think in other areas, you definitely see the producer influence. Like you were saying it even before, weren't you? But I'm undecided on that one. What about you?
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't think we even mentioned it on the show, but I saw it on the catch-up over the weekend, Dave. Fuck me, how bad was that massage between Michael and Leanne? I can't remember us mentioning it, but it was fucking
painful.
Dreadful. It did look painful, yeah. But it was dreadful, wasn't it? It was absolutely so premeditated and overproduced. I was like, oh my God, the direction you've had to try and garner a conversation. Look, Dave, if Sam's giving me a massage like that, there's no way I'm going to start talking about fucking recoupling or anything like that, really. Come on now. You know what I mean? It's fucking nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, some of it is pretty bad. So, but we love it.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. No, you're right. Yeah. So, as I mentioned before, get in contact with us on our social media platforms, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Bye now.